Good day everybody and welcome to this another video tutorial for Unity scripting. As you remember, last time what we finished was we learned how to use random, and we also learned how to use the time, how to calculate time, how to use time, how to use random to generate or instantiate uh, different prefabs, which in this case was these balls. So what we want to learn today is uh, how to instantiate based on uh, time, based on a certain time, after like 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, or any other given time, and also how to instantiate different prefabs which are self-destructing. So they'll destroy themselves because there is a timer inside them by default. So they record that how much time they have been living in the world, and then they destroy themselves. Okay, so I'm going to show you an example of what we want to create. I'm going to just open that project I just tried to create. Okay, this is the scene. Okay, now what happens is, if you look, these are the ice cubes being generated over here, and you can notice them in the project. What happens is, after about 3 seconds, after they come into the Unity scene, they destroy themselves automatically. So in this case, we're not using the timer to count down the scene, the remaining time of the scene, but we are counting how many seconds they've been living, and then we will be just destroying them after 3 seconds or 4 seconds, something like that. So these are the ice cubes we want to create. So I do that over here again. I'm gonna um, do this again in front of you. Let me just create new ice cubes over here. So I'm gonna create new ice cubes. I'm gonna call them ice cubes. This will be the original object I will be creating, and this is my ice cube, and it should be looking like a cube, like this. So it's a cube basically. So I create this ice cube, and I want it to be created automatically. So when you want something to be created automatically, so you drag and drop this over here, so it becomes a prefab. So right now it's just a 3D object inside your scene. We want to create a prefab. So what I do is I create this ice folder. This is an older ice cube. I did exactly same thing on this. So I'm going to do this again so that you can also learn how to do that. So I just change its name. So this is my ice cube. As soon as I bring it here, it will become a prefab, as you can see. Okay, and now I'm gonna apply. This is the older one. I want to remove. Okay, let me do this. This is my ice cube, and I want to apply the frost effect on this. Okay, so there's a material here I want to use. So it's in my project. I just drag and drop this on my ice cube, so it shows to me like it is an actual ice. So I'll make it a little smaller. That's my ice cube, and it's a prefab now. Now I want to do is what I want to do is I want to let this game go um, for about 30 seconds. So I'm going to create a new empty component, and I'm going to call it time manager, because it will start to instantiate new ice cubes every few seconds, every 3 seconds or 5 seconds, whatever I tell it to. And there's no need to create this as a prefab because I'm not using this in my code. This is the cube I will be instantiating in my code, and that's the reason why I have placed this here as a prefab under the ice folder. So it can be any folder, as long as you drag and drop this and bring it under the assets, it will become a prefab. So this time manager is an empty object. I'm going to create a script over here. Okay, and for the purpose of making this a little quicker, I'm going to create the sprinkle ice script. over it. And then I'm going to explain this to you also what it is. Sprinkle ice. So this sprinkle ice, what this script does is it runs for a set amount of time. I'm going to show this to you here. It runs for 60 seconds right now. So this is the timer, not of the game, but this is the timer of the time manager, which is this object. And the reason I've created this time manager script is I am this game object is because this will be the one which will create these ice cubes. So how will it create this ice cube? Because it will have this script. So the script will create this ice cube. So the script will run for 60 seconds. As long as it comes, um, uh, it will keep on coming down from 60 and then 59 and then it will stop at 0, and until it stops it will keep producing new prefab. So let me just explain this to you. It takes two game objects. So one is the ice prefab and the other one is position prefab. I'm going to give this ice prefab over here, this ice prefab. I'm going to give this over here, and the other one is the position prefab. Why this is necessary? Well, it's not really necessary, but in order to create these ice prefabs at a certain place, we create this position prefab. Now you can create it any other place also if you like, any other place where this original prefab is. You can certainly create it over there. But I'm going to create a position object, create empty, and I'm call it ice position, because I want it to be created over here. So I'm going to go back to my time manager and I'll say this position. So it will start creating the new ice cubes at this position. But where this position is, let's see, it's over here, right? So I want it to be a little up, maybe this side. Okay, remember I did this already before, so I'm just redoing it so that we can see this more clearly. So this is my ice cube and it will be instantiated over here by this script which is inside the time manager. So let's open the script and understand it more. So we got the ice prefab which we want to instantiate, and which position also we got, and now in the update it's called once per frame and every time it is called the timer goes down. Now what we do is we check every time if the time is divisible by 5, meaning 5 seconds have passed. So it will start uh, in the beginning, and then after 5 seconds, and then at the 10th second, and then 15th, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, and then 60. Up till it is 60, it will keep on doing that. Okay, so this is what the logic is. Now what we really want is that we want it to stop after 60. That is basically this timer. So we have not finished that. We want to modify this code so that it really stops instantiating these prefabs. Now the instantiate code, as we have seen in the previous tutorial, it creates a prefab based on whatever you supplied, and we supplied it over here. This ice cube has been given to the ice prefab and the position prefab. So it creates ice prefab at what position. For that we gave this position prefab. So the position prefab's position and its rotation are copied and it will create that. So let's try this. We save our scene and we also save our script, and let's try what happens here. Okay, these are the ice cubes being created. Okay, there's an ice cube being created, and yeah, okay, in order not to be remixing the older one, I'm gonna just delete this one. Okay, let's do that. I just delete this one. Let's play. So we only have ice being created. You see these ice is being created. Now these are being created while the game is running. You can go to the scene and check where they are. It will point you out where there is, and press W if the W is not created. All of them are being created at the same position. Now I want them to be coming down. I want them to fall down. So they'll only be falling down if we have a rigid body inside. So let's go to physics and add rigid body. Okay, and now just let's see what happens here. Now they've got rigid body. So these are my ice cubes being created, and notice they are being created but they're not being destroyed. So what I want to do is I want them to self-destroy after 3 seconds or after 2 seconds. So I want their life not to be unlimited. I don't want them to be in the game continuously. As soon as they are instantiated. Now why they're jumping up? Because they're colliding with each other. That's why they're jumping up. Because they've been producing at the same place. That's why they collide and they jump up and then come down. A little big ice cubes they are, I must say. So let's go here and resize it to a little smaller one, and you can now see the ice cubes are there being created after every 5 seconds. One, okay, I'll count after this first. Producing, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it creates more cubes and after every 5 seconds. So this is what is working right now, and something very similar we did before in using the timer, and it was not very similar, but it was, you know, same code almost. But now we are not doing that ongoing to display the timer. We are just producing more ice cubes after every 5 seconds. Now that's not all. I don't want to stop over here. I want these ice cubes to have some life. I want them to self-destruct after every 3 seconds or 5 seconds or 10 seconds, because in many times this happens that in games you see golden coins at random places and you run towards them as a player and then they are gone. So you got to catch them or eat them in a certain time. They're not there forever, so they'll self-destroy. So what I'm gonna do, um, this ice cube needs another script. Right now the ice cube doesn't have any script. It only has this rigid body. Who has the script? The time manager, which is producing ice cubes every 5 seconds. So the ice cubes, I need another script for this. So I'm gonna go to the what do you call it, ice life first, ice life script, and I'm gonna drag and drop it on the ice cube, ice life, and I'm gonna drag and drop on the ice cube. Let's look at what ice script is like. It doesn't need any object from outside. It knows what to do. It says initialize the time for timer to 3 seconds in this case. So what will really happen? So now what I'm saying is I have a timer over here which I don't necessarily need to initialize over here. I can also call it null or just, you know, end up over here like this. So when it starts, I say timer is 3, which means I represent that to 3 seconds. Over here obviously it's just a float variable. So based on the difference in the time, it reduces the timer, and after every second it will come down to realistic 1 second. So if the timer is less than 0 and the ice is above the terrain destroyed. Now what we are doing is we want to, let me just remove this so that you can understand this easily, and then I'm going to put this back. So what I'm saying is if the time finished, if the 3 seconds have been finished, okay, for the ice, since it came to the scene, then destroy it. You see, now this will work perfectly. I'm gonna come here, excuse me, just start playing this, and these are my ice cubes. You can see from here they'll start being produced, and then after every 3 seconds they'll go away, and then after 5 seconds they'll be generated after 5 seconds, and then after 3 seconds they'll go away. So that's what happened, but then there is an exception over here. There is an error, missing reference. The variable ice prefab has not been assigned. So I'm going to play this again, and you'll see they will indeed be created, but then they'll be destroyed after 3 seconds, and then there will be an error. Let's see what happens. They're created over here ice cubes, and then after 3 seconds they are destroyed, and then there's an error. What really happens is that even the original one, you see this ice cube original one, this is the original prefab, even this one has been destroyed. Now what our script does, the sprinkle ice script, what it does is that when I drag and drop this on the time manager, I'm telling it I want exactly a copy of this. Instantiate a new copy of this, and it'll be a completely new object, but you instantiate at this position. Okay, so it does that, and then after 3 seconds it destroys it. But the ice cube also has the script. All the new instance have the script with them, so all of them they will destroy in 3 seconds, including the original one. So the original one is also destroyed, so there is no way it will know which one to be created one, because the original one is destroyed. So what we want to do is we don't want to destroy the original one, so we will preserve it, another one. So what we will do, we created this big cube. I'm gonna call it original uh, holder of original. So it will hold the original one, it will prevent it from falling down. So what is this? Is the original ice cube. I will bring it original ice cube on top of this, and I'll keep it here so that it doesn't fall down, or it doesn't go out of my scene, or it doesn't become inaccessible, or it doesn't keep on falling. Remember, even when it is keep on falling, it will it will consume my memory, it will consume some processing power. I don't want all that. So as soon as it is born, I wanted to uh, rest on this, and this is the another box. Is just a simple box, it's not even rigid body, on which this will fall. You see, if I chew in the scene, it will come and fall over this. See, in my scene, it will come and fall over this, and then it will destroy. Now it will destroy because it has this script which will destroy in 3 seconds. So what I do over here is that if it is below the y goes below the terrain, then don't destroy it, because below the terrain there is only one which I've kept, this one. What is its y? -11. So that's the purpose I kept it there. Here I'm gonna say and transform.position.y, which is the current object's transform, which is the ice cube's transform. Its position, y position, is greater than 0, then you destroy it. So all of them which are above the terrain and the timer is finished, they will get destroyed. So if their 3 seconds have been passed and they're above the ground, they'll be destroyed. The original one will be alive. Okay, so let's try and play this game again. Yeah, so we got these created, and the original is being created. You see these new cubes. They're being created after every 5 seconds. One, and they'll live for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, and they'll be destroyed. And then the original one will be created. This shouldn't count because the ice cube is there. I have not destroyed. Has not been assigned. I have. Need to assign ice prefab. Yeah, I did that. That's why it is generating now. Ice cube, ice cube, ice cube. Because if you go down, and you will see it's still there. It's not destroyed. Okay, so that's the reason why we have random objects created after every 5 seconds. New ice created after 5 seconds, exactly in this position, and it will destroy, self-destruct after 3 seconds. So let's ignore this just now, it doesn't make sense. Secondly, I want to transform this. I want to change this so that it doesn't come back on this position always. It comes in randomly. It should be random. So it should be random where between x should be between 30 and somewhere like 400, and z should be between 26 and somewhere between 400 also. So that's the other task you want to create. If you come back and refer to the move script we created once before, we gave a certain range. Okay, if you remember this, we gave a certain range to create on a certain place. Random range. You want to look at this code. I'm going to just copy this code and place in my ice life, and I'll say it'll be created, not ice life, but instead the sprinkle life. I don't want it to be created anywhere. I want it to be created somewhere between these two, or between these three. Yeah, that should be its position and that should be its rotation. So what I'll do now is I'm going to change this to new vector, so that this position is new vector 3 because it's 3D, and let's make it 0 0 0 to test if it's working. I'm going to save it, 0 0 0. Let's go back and run this, and you should see that they are being created, ice cubes. And where exactly they're being created, let's see, they'll be created 0 0 0 at this point exactly. So what I want is, I want it to be under a random place. So I'll say this should be something like this, random dot range, and I'll press an enter after comma so my code looks clean. Again, random dot range for y, this is y, and sorry, this should be random dot range, and I'm gonna fix y to 0. So the y is always 0 because I don't want the height to be adjusted, not 0. Let's make it 50, so it's at a certain height, 50.0 f. Now this should be a random range. What should be the range of this ice position? Let's see again. It should be between, let's bring it closer, 460, is it? Yeah, it looks like 462, somewhere 40, let's say. It's gonna be, was that x? Yes, that was x. So let's make it 35.0 to 460. 460, that was x, and z we'll call it, let's say we'll just move it from here, maximum 400 to minimum 15. We don't want it to fall off, so minimum should be 15. So let's call it from minimum 15.0 f to maximum, sorry, 415. Let's say 415.0 f. Okay, let's save this also. So we got this random position. It will be creating this random position, and it's a random dot range. This is x, another random dot range. There should be 0 here, sorry, 50 here. Did I type 50? Yes, I did. Vector 3. No, this is vector 3. This can be very, very confusing. Yeah, this is a vector 3 I created. It has this random x, y is 50 fixed, and this is z. Okay, and let's save this and let's try now. It'll be created at random places and they'll fall off and then they'll get destroyed. It's not one fixed place. They've been created at different places, you can see. You can see from here. I'm going to click on them. This one is somewhere here. This one is here. This one is somewhere else. This one is somewhere else. Yeah, that's right. So they're being created at different places and they're falling down. So let me try making the original ice a little bigger in size so we can notice also in the game. A little bigger. Let's see. Wherever they've been created, yeah, now they can be noticed easily. Okay. Now you may see that it's they're a little less, so we can always control that with the sprinkle ice. We don't want it every 5 seconds. We need that every 2 seconds, for example. So we come and we play this. You can see now there'll be more often. You can see ice. You can also set their destruction time a little later, not just only 3 seconds, so that you can see them for a longer time. So I'll make it 1, and ice life we don't want to destroy after 3, we want to destroy it after 5 seconds. Okay, let's play this. Yeah, so you see every second there are new ice cubes being created, and they'll be destroyed, self-destroyed after 5 seconds automatically. So that's my ice coming down. Okay, and it doesn't remain always in the game. They'll die down. I mean, they'll finish. They'll be destroyed. See that? This guy drops down, and then maybe my ice cube is now a little, a little bigger to be called as ice. I'm gonna reduce its size again. Okay. I hope you like it. Thank you very much for watching.